appointed as acting foreign minister. Mourners gathered at the holy shrine of Imam Rezi in the city of Mashhad, just as many countries and their leaders paid tribute to Iran's Raisi. Pakistan lowered its national flag to half-mast on government buildings and declared one-day mourning, while Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said President Xi Jinping extended condolences on Iran's president's death, calling it a great loss to the people of Iran. Uche Oguchukwu, NTA News.
In a related development, President Bola Tinubu extends his condolences to the government and people of the Islamic Republic of Iran over the passing of President Ibrahim Raisi. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian and other officials in a helicopter crash. President Tinubu expresses profound grief over this disturbing tragedy and describes President Raisi as a leader who was passionately committed to the development of Iran. While commiserating with the bereaved families, President Tinubu prays for the continuous peace, stability, and prosperity of the Iranian nation. On behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, the President assures the Islamic Republic of Nigeria's support and prayers in a moment of grief. President Bola Tinubu extends his heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Oba Yusuf Omokonye Oyikomi, the Elemono of the Elemono in Oyo local government area of Kwara State. The president mourns the royal father as his passing leaves a huge vacuum in the repository of wisdom, integrity, and courage he embodied. Most importantly, President Tinubu celebrates the life of His Royal Majesty, who lived according to his unvarnished principles of devotion to the Almighty, honesty, diligence, and service to humanity. The President commiserates with the royal family, including his aide-de-camp, Colonel Nuruddin Yusuf, urging them to take comfort in the great legacy of the late monarch, who lived a fulfilled life of accomplishments and impact. President Bola Tinubu celebrates Alhaji Akoni Seriki Bamu, the Akwashe of Ekbeland, on his 85th birthday. President Tinubu joins family, friends, and members of the Governance Advisory Council of Lagos State to celebrate a distinguished Nigerian renowned for his integrity, loyalty, and nobility. The President salutes the octogenarian for his many passionate endeavors, strengthening the weak and providing material and economic comfort to many families. The President thanked Baba for his support and counsel while wishing him many more years in good health. A look at legislative affairs. A 300% salary increase for judicial officers at the federal and state level is likely to come into effect soon. This is evident as the Senate engages stakeholders at a public hearing on a bill to that effect. In his submission at the public hearing, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, says the increment as proposed by the federal government is innovative as it takes into cognizance administrative peculiarities of the judiciary in order to guarantee its independence. Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, explains that the Tinubu administration believes in reforming the judiciary for efficiency, adding that this salary package approved by the President is as proposed by the National Judicial Council to reflect economic realities. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Mohammed Tahir Mongono, states that the legislation would hopefully address and respond to the justice needs of Nigerians. In other news, a series of measures we hear are being taken by the education sector in Jigawa State to break the glass ceiling syndrome and allow for free, unlimited space for women in the state to thrive. This was unveiled during an inauguration of projects at various senior girls' secondary schools in Jigawa by Governor Umar Namadi. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
For Aisha Suleiman and many like her at Girls Science Secondary School Jahun, The ground has been watered for women to germinate and grow to sky-high limits in fulfilling their dreams. The free girl child education from primary to university level, the provision of free feeding for them, and the provision of school infrastructure and teaching materials, creating a conducive atmosphere for learning, has changed the narrative for girl child education pursued in Jigawa State for the better.
In this age of technology, having access to a modern and well-equipped computer laboratory is crucial for our education. We seek your support in establishing a standard and modern computer laboratory here to enhance our learning and better prepare for the future.
For Governor Umar Namadi, the saying, "You educate a woman and you educate the society," has explained his resolve to support for girl child education in the state in a bid to build a state where women and their male counterparts will have equal access to education and jobs.
We have a lot of programs that has to do with the quality, that has to do with the quantity, and that one has to do with the infrastructural development, not only for girl child education, but for general advancement of education in Jigawa State.
Of the commissioning of your computer laboratory, students' dining halls, schools' wall fencing, and the distribution of 30,000 sets of school uniforms for the girls' students at the Girls' Unity Secondary School Malamaduri and the Girls' Science Secondary School Jahun, stakeholders believe is a demonstration of commitments to change the position of Jigawa State from bottom to top on the national education chart. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
As the Nigerian military and other security agencies continue to battle to contain remnants of insurgents and other criminal elements in the northeast region through conventional means, well, Yobe state government has adopted an unconventional approach in dealing with vandals of electricity infrastructure as it engages prayer warriors to seek divine intervention in protecting these critical national assets in the state. Yunusa Suleiman brings us details on the motive behind this spiritual exercise.
Including Damatru, the state capital, was recently plunged into total darkness for the second time, following the vandalization of 330 kVA electricity transmission towers in Kasese village by yet-to-be-identified persons. The resultant effects of these dastardly acts were the harrowing experiences taking toll on the residents and the local economy that depends mostly on public power supply.
It affected almost about 7 to 8 local governments from Damatru, Tarmua, Gaidam, Yunusari, Gujibo, Gulani. And it affects most of the social and local economic activities.
As the vandalized electricity towers were repaired, protecting these critical assets against vandals and those aiding and abetting them through spiritual means, Yobe State government says becomes imperative.
When we put the conventional security, we have to complement it with our spiritual effort through prayers. Even the conventional security, occasionally they hold prayer sessions so that God will grant them success. Without God, there's nothing you can do. So now we are calling on God to grant success to the conventional security, to the community, and also to expose the vandals.
As electricity supply is suspected to be restored to Damatru 330 kVA transmission substation anytime soon, it is the hope and prayer of people in the state that this will bring to an end attacks on these towers that supply electricity not only to most parts of Yobe, but also to the neighboring Borno state. Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Well, you may say it is new because it's not been established formally, but it is crucial. So let's join our correspondent, Yunusa Suleiman, to give us highlights on this development. Yunusa, please tell us, we're seeing this, being formally established, talking about adopting spiritual exercise to protect the assets. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, major taken by partnership with the local authority
is tantamount.
There. Yunusa, your signal is really poor. If we can connect, we'll reconnect with you because we really want to know the measures, how this will be more effective in protecting the assets in the state. Let's turn to other issues. The Nigeria Customs Service is seeking synergy with traditional rulers and other critical stakeholders in Ogun State to achieve its mandate of waging war against smuggling and trans-border crimes and boost income generation for the nation. Well, the Comptroller Customs Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Kola Oladeji, led a delegation on a visit to different traditional rulers in Ogun State. Yemi Dalamo reports.
The first port of call of the Nigeria Customs team was at the palace of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egba land, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, where the controller of the Federal Operation Unit Zone A, Kola Oladeji, explained that there is the need for an active involvement of traditional rulers in the war against border crimes. The team thereafter moved to Ipokia, a border town, after Idiroko for a conversation with the Onipokia and monarchs of various communities, promising the readiness of Nigeria Customs Service to play by the rules of engagement.
I believe that I need royal blessings. Seek for their support in discharging our mandates, the core mandates, and at the same time promising that we shall continue to discharge our responsibilities within the ambit of the law.
We need to start having meet with them. They will say their mind, we'll tell them what we're feeling, and then we'll work from there. So we're working together. We have to work together. That's the bottom line.
And it's a visit of new relationship with them. So we really appreciate the government for the good job they have been doing.
The Customs Controller Federal Operation Unit Zone A assures that innocent citizens will not lose their lives in the process of customs war against transborder crimes. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA.
As the 2024 Hajj operation progresses, the federal government has procured consignment of essential drugs for the medical teams of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. The medical consumables were formally presented to the NACON's executive chairman by the executive secretary of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency in Abuja. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
Vision of essential healthcare services to the pilgrims is one of the major activities engaged by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria during the annual Hajj operations. The Commission's commitment to undertake this all-important activity this year receives a boost as it has taken delivery of consignments of drugs procured by the federal government. The Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, formally presented the drugs to the NACON Executive Chairman on behalf of the Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
We have provided a set of vaccines. There is the meningitis vaccine, there is the polio virus vaccine, oral, there is the influenza vaccine, and I believe there is the tetanus toxoid vaccine as well. We have also provided essential medicines that cover quite a wide range of common ailments that people have.
And assuredly, these drugs will reach their destination, and like we said, devoid of any mishap on the way. We'll still come back to the public with how these medicines were utilized for accountability.
Well, although this appears to be an annual intervention by the federal government, the NACON Executive Chairman says the speed at which these drugs were procured and delivered to the Commission is unprecedented. In Abuja, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
All right, let's head to Lagos. Let's find out the latest from that end, and Adiola is set to guide us.
Thank you, Ruth. Still on the Hajj.
Lagos State Government has commenced this year's Hajj operations with the airlift of 450 pilgrims, which constitutes the first batch of intended pilgrims in line with the operational guidelines of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON. This was disclosed by the Commissioner for Home Affairs and the Amirul Hajj, Ibrahim Layode, after flagging off the inaugural airlift of intended pilgrims for this year's Hajj exercise in Lagos. Musa Toliad has the details.
The inaugural airlift of pilgrims was born out of the directive from the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria after NACON supervised the airlift of first batch of pilgrims from Kebbi State and Federal Capital Territory. Reality has now dawned on these 425 intended pilgrims as their dreams of meeting a vital obligation in Islam is now confirmed. The presence of the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Jalal Arabi, is meant to give good tidings of federal government support for a hitch-free Hajj exercise.
You are going to a foreign land, a land that has its laws, rules and regulations. Please make us proud as proud Nigerians by abiding by the rules and regulations of the country. Do the do's and don't do the don'ts. No.
Then, it was time for these first batch of intended pilgrims to commence their journey to the holy city of Medina in Saudi Arabia. As the airlift begins, there is need to get first-hand information on what NACON has done to address the challenges experienced during the last Hajj operation.
Every pilgrims got their visa now as I'm talking to you. So if we come with 10 flights now that you want to elite pilgrims, they are ready. So different from what it used to be before. So we are improving.
We have concentrated them, giving them enough orientation what they may face over there.
More importantly, spiritual well-being of intending pilgrims must be taken into consideration.
We have been able to, to sponsor like 14 ulama, so that we can increase the number of ulama that will be able to guide the people.
Lagos State government is expected to airlift 1,800 intending pilgrims to the Holy Land in Saudi Arabia. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Nigeria has strong extant laws on child labor and over the years made considerable progress in making sure that child labor is eradicated in the country. Despite validating the national policy on child labor and the action plan for its elimination 2021 to 2025, the act still persists in some communities, with many activists of child rights pointing to reluctance of communities to be on board the crusade. Larry Bilei takes a look at how communities can be empowered anew to tackle this ugly act in their domains.
Labor is one of the greatest moral issues facing the world. At public spaces and homes, these underaged children are seen begging for alms along busy roads, not minding the dangers involved, and hawking goods, mostly sachet water, while in some homes they are house helps. Government efforts at all levels in eradicating child labor in the country, many say, is not yet yielding the desired results, with communities feigning ignorance about the situation. In some cases, communities see child labor as an act of survival by the families that engage in it. So if you can't help, don't intervene.
This attitude is reinforced by the fact that many children begin working at a very young age and are able to contribute to their families financially. Yes, they bring in income. In addition, some traditional practices in Nigeria involve children working in certain sectors, such as apprenticeships in trade and farming.
This has raised the question, is child labor a cultural, religious, or socio-economic demand? In Nigeria, sites of these children working at farms for agricultural purposes, construction sites, even as apprentices at automobile repair shops, and begging for alms, even scavenging, is of grave concern. Child protection and rights advocates states that advocacy needs to be stepped up in communities, starting with religious organizations, community associations, market men and women groups, and artisans association in Lagos. Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And those are reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in our Sokoto Network Center when we return from this break.
Fellow Nigerians, it is a good thing to be Nigerian. Good news! The Office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is organizing the National Fabric Competition, the hashtag One Nigeria Unity Fabric Competition. The aim is to create a fabric design that would be indigenous to Nigeria, showcasing our culture and unity. This competition is looking out for creativity, concept, and the message of unity. Open to Nigerian youths, both male and female, between the ages of 15 and 25 years. And guess what? You can apply wherever you are in the world as long as you are Nigerian. The winner of this competition goes home with a cash prize of 25 million naira. Are you sure I will not apply for this competition? Submission of entries close on Sunday, 30th of June 2024. Submit your entries by sending pictures of your designs via email to unityfabric.ofl24@statehouse.gov.ng, making sure you capture all parts of your designs. Together, let us unite Nigeria!
Good morning, Ernest. How are you today?
You have got 2 strikes. You do anyhow, you go see anyhow. Because you are a pastor, that means you don't normally collect commission when you are selling a house.
Even God collected commission. Next to him, and it's the one that has given back to back. Within me, I began to ask God questions. Have you sent angel to this very world? I didn't take chance at all.
Sharp.
Immediately.
That day?
I went for her.
That day?
I hit her.
Actually, one thing you guys don't notice, I look like Super too. I look like Super.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, my pastor! Give it up for Israel. So you want to tell your dad's steps?
No.
Mention an animal that best describes your most annoying sibling.
Cockroach.
A cat. Goats.
Survey says...
Meet lovebirds Jayola and Adama Davies. Their dream of living together as man and wife has finally been fulfilled.
The latest couple in town, Mr. and Mrs. Jaye Davis!
But an invasion by their troublesome families was not a scenario they bargained for. Her mother moves in. His mother shows up with his little niece. Then her younger sister joins the scramble.
You want to stay?
Married life suddenly becomes very complicated even before it started. Follow their story on this channel as they confront every challenge as it comes. Family forever, the story of our lives.
Effective service delivery, quick intervention for progress and development in all sectors remain a recurring desire of Nigerians. To bridge these gaps and accelerate improvements in the people's living conditions, President Bola Tinubu hit the ground running, signing performance bonds with the administration's foot soldiers. Reshaping democracy debuts on NTA. Putting 8 presidential priority areas on the implementers on a scale, holding MDAs accountable. Keep a date with the NTA every Tuesday at 10:05 in the evening as we assess government's performance and reshape the nation's democracy.
Good evening and thank you for joining us here in Sokoto on Nationwide. The Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor NACTAL has called on government and concerned authorities to seek justice for the 5 children allegedly kidnapped by 2 women from Sokoto and intercepted by the FCT Police Command. National President NACTAL Nigeria Abdulganiyu Abubakar made the appeal at a press briefing in Sokoto. Alhata Abdullahi reports.
The press briefing was aimed at awakening all agencies concerned to their responsibilities of bringing the 2 women Kuludo Gonyaro and Elizabeth Oja arrested for allegedly kidnapping and trafficking 5 children to face the full wrath of the law. The National President, Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTAL, Abdulganiyu Abubakar says the case, which has been referred to the Sokoto State Police Command by the FCT Police Command, however, awaits handing over to the Sokoto Zonal Command of the National Agencies for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, for further action.
We are concerned about the plight of these children, whether they have been properly counseled, whether the trauma has been managed. Naturally, children who have passed through this will be traumatized. And then, of course, as a society that is expected to provide protection and care for children, we also feel it is important that the government stakeholders explain to the generality of the public what they are doing with this particular case.
The National President, NACTAL, commended the Nigerian police for its successful interception and arrest of the 2 suspected women. NACTAL is a national platform committed to the protection and respect of the rights of Nigerian child, operating across the 36 states and the FCT. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Kebbi State Government, in collaboration with other development partners, have established nutrition corners in some health facilities across the state as part of strategies to fight malnutrition. Correspondent Hassana Abubakar Kuku reports that the exercise was launched in Gulumbe, bringing Kebbi local government.
Nutrition corners are used to teach mothers and caregivers how to prepare nutritious meals for children under 5 using available food items. The program is aimed at reducing the rate of malnourished children in the state, as statistics indicated that Kebbi State has the highest cases of malnutrition in the country, with stunting rates of 66.1%. This therefore draws the attention of stakeholders who identified the need for increased awareness and promotion of exclusive breastfeeding, among other interventions.
Kebbi State has an abundance of materials to feed its people. We also hope by the role of this nutrition corners, we will receive counseling on how to treat and combine foods for the benefit of their children.
A child needs to eat protein, either fish or egg or beans, and we have these things available despite the economic meltdown.
Once you give them nutritious food during these 6 months, after 6 months, they won't fall into this malnutrition.
The wife of the governor, Hajjan Nafisa Nasir Idris, promised to support the actualization of the goals and objectives of the exercise. We shall do our best to ensure that malnutrition has become a thing of the past in our states. Earlier, Hajjan Nafisa paid homage to the district head of Gulumbe, Alhaji Aminu Abubakar Angaladima. From Birnin Kebbi, Hassan Abubakar Koko, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Sokoto. Is back to Abuja with Ruth for the continuation of the news.
Thank you very much, Asmao. The National Pathogen Respiratory is being established with the support of the United States government through the U.S. Defense Threat Reduction Agency under the Biological Threat Reduction Program. The collaborative project, which has been implemented at the National Veterinary Research Institute, also encompasses other areas such as capacity building, infrastructure, upgrade for utilities, power, and water. Well, the Pathogen Respiratory Foundation lane was done in Abuja, where the U.S. Embassy was there, represented by Dave Green. Ideyang Yang reports.
Established in 1924, the National Veterinary Research Institute, VORM, has the mandate to research on animal diseases, treatment and control, with vaccines manufacturing, laboratory diagnosis, veterinary research and innovation, as well as surveillance and extension services to livestock farmers as 4 key areas of operation. Here to witness this historic occasion are stakeholders in the livestock sector, international partners, as well as serving and retired staff of the Institute. Performing the groundbreaking ceremony, David Green of U.S. Embassy Abuja describes Nigeria as the leading economy in Africa with great potentials, adding that the project will enhance capacities for detection, diagnosis, and reporting of exceptionally dangerous pathogens within the territory of Nigeria.
The ability to prevent, detect, respond to, and recover from new and emerging public health threats and to avert their spread across borders is a shared responsibility.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, represented, expresses optimism that the foundation will further strengthen the long relationship between the two countries.
Tremendous work being done here today have not only helped to prevent the control and spread of infectious diseases among our livestock, but has also contributed to the development of sustainable livestock farming practices.
Nigeria is not only critical to the African continent, Nigeria is critical to global peace and security.
This intervention will improve the physical security, biosafety and biosecurity practices to prevent any accidental or intentional release of exceptionally dangerous pathogens.
Distinguished guests, having performed the historic groundbreaking ceremony, also participated in a tree planting exercise before the cutting of the centenary cake to mark the commencement of activities surrounding NVRI's centenary celebration. In Jos, Indonesian and Debagyang, NTA News.
Igbo community at home and in diaspora have commended some of the proactive measures put in place by the Tinubu's presidency to reactivate key sectors of the economy and promote local content development. Well, this was when the community-honored chieftain of the party and director of the Confederation of APC support groups, Professor Keilani Mohammed. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The APC is a moving train, and the borders that seem to slow the journey are now fast reconnecting for a leadership that is people's-oriented and focused in achieving prosperity. Now the Igbos at home and in diaspora are uniting behind the renewed hope agenda, and the symbol of the new reality on the political landscape of the country is the Director General of the Confederation of APC support groups.
It only takes a patient dog to eat the fattest bone. Nigeria must be great again. Nigeria must be great again. Do not give up. Continue to do those things you know that are right and good.
Honored as the Ikoko Indu, meaning the breeze of life by the Igbo community, the feat, they say, was as a result of its unbreakable covenant and commitment towards the progress of the party, which played out during the 2023 general elections.
By next year, God's willing, the tintinabulation of the bell will be ricocheting in our waves in Nigeria on how 2027 will be. Agriculture must be brought back too, in earnest.
Professor Keilani urged Nigerians to be patient and enjoy the teething period, as what the future holds under the Tinubu's presidency is far greater than the immediate sacrifice. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
In preparation for the November 16th governorship election in Ondo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is intensifying efforts by resuming the continuous voters registration exercise in the state. The exercise, which is set to begin on Monday, May 27th, and will span a time frame of 9 days, is to ensure that all eligible voters in the state have the opportunity to register and participate in the election. Abiola Ario reports.
As Ondo State prepares to elect a new governor come November 16, 2024, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the state is getting ready for the registration of new voters through the continuous voters registration exercise.
Definitely, as a good citizen of the nation, so there's no way I will not exercise my franchise on the election day.
I don't have PVC for now, but I'm planning to go and register, and I promise to vote for the coming election.
We have enough INEC voter enrollment device, which we call IVED. They are already charged, and they are ready for deployment to the registration areas.
Also, as part of its preparations, INEC organized a stakeholders meeting where plans mapped out for the CVR were disclosed. Currently, Ondo INEC records 327,058 uncollected permanent voters' cards and 4,241 beavers for the election. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
Right, let's get more development on the continuous voters registration exercise in the state. And to do that for us, we join our correspondent Paul there at Akure. Paul, tell us how much advocacy, sensitization is being done to encourage people, that is eligible voters, to come out since the continuous voters registration, will commence on the 27th of May. Tell us about that.
Okay, Ruth, what INEC has done here in Akure, first and foremost, was to have a stakeholders meeting. It was held to actually sensitize key players of what INEC has planned as part of their preparation for the CVR exercise, which begins next week, Monday, throughout the 203 wards and here at the INEC headquarters. What they expect is that all stakeholders, including the political parties, are expected to also inform eligible or prospective registrants to access the various registration centers across the 203 centers in the state, and of course plus the headquarters here in Akure, the Ondo state capital. They are also reaching out to media houses for promos, for commercials, to further make the various people of voting age aware of the exercise for the period, which is for 27th of May to the 5th of June, just 9-day window.
Space of the 9 days window that has been given for this continuous voters registration, Paul, would you tell us more about the centers? Will they be enough considering the number of registrants, who want to engage in this process? Because oftentimes we get to see that there's this last-minute rush. If you weigh the options available, if they must ensure a smooth process, would you say the balance is okay?
Those were part of the fears and questions raised by stakeholders during the meeting. The window is quite short, and INEC says that there won't be online registration, and they are advising that all eligible voters should go to the various registration centers across the 18 local government areas of the state. And to do that also effectively, they expect that in addition to showing interest, all the political parties and key players are to also participate, collaborate with INEC to ensure that there is enough publicity. And for that purpose also, the media houses are also being told to play their own part, because INEC says that they have only 9 days and they cannot go beyond the 9 days for this exercise. We are believing that it will be successful, going by the enthusiasm shown by the people of Ondo State, who are very, very confident that the 9 days period will be effectively utilized by all the eligible registrants.
Expect proactiveness from both ends, talking about the electorate and, of course, INEC officials to ensure a smooth process. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome. All right, we head now to Maiduguri to join Ladidi. Let's find out what's happening there. Ladidi?
and welcome to Maiduguri. More than 1,000 poor and vulnerable persons cutting across the young and old of all gender living within the host communities of Ngomari Old Airport in Jere local government area of Borno State have benefited from a free medical outreach of the Nigerian Air Force. The event is part of activities lined up to commemorate 60 years anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force. Abubakar Musa reports.
These are some of the beneficiaries of the free medical outreach, expressing heartfelt appreciation to the Nigerian Air Force for incorporating issues of health of the Gomari Old Airport host communities in its 60 years anniversary. HIV tests and counseling, deworming, laboratory tests, eye check and immunization, as well as presentation of mosquito nets were among the series of services rendered to the people. The outreach is a directive of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, towards providing effective and efficient healthcare services. Commander 105 Composite Group, Air Commodore Caleb Oluwatimilahin Olayara, conveyed appreciation of the Chief of Air Staff to the people for providing